Hello, everyone. Yes, we have reached the final hour of the final day and of documenting ourselves, impacts, outcomes, and insights. So I've been thinking about that a lot. All of my own, the impacts that these presentations have had upon me, not just these, but the ones that we saw in the last session, which were profound. And I had the same response this time. And I'm sure I will to the next two. It's just powerful to hear people telling their own stories of their own communities and their own experiences. So our first presentation will be from Scott Tilton and Rudy Bazinet from the New Orleans Foundation for Francophile Cultures. And in 2024, the American Folklife Center awarded the Community Collections Grant to them for this project. The music, La Musique, is that what just La Musique? You crossed that. And they changed the title yesterday, so. Their project is a musical recording and interview documentation initiative aimed at understanding how Louisiana musicians are adapting to their performance traditions of French language music to a 21st century context where English is ever present. And we had a meeting, was it last spring, right? Last spring, Heather hosted us in New Orleans, and we met you, and it was an astounding trip. And the incredible diversity of music and the originality of the regional music of Louisiana in particular, and Louisiana, but of New Orleans in particular, was really astounding. So come on up.
All right. Brought a few things as well. Thank you so much, Natalie. Bonjour, or, you know, as we say in Louisiana, et là-bas. We can also say bonjour, y'all, so you can choose which one you prefer. My name is Rudy Bazinet, and I'm the co-director, along with Scott Tilton here, of the New Orleans Foundation for Francophone Cultures, based in New Orleans. I moved from France, where I'm originally from, to Louisiana about 5 years ago, and I'm so thrilled to be at the Library of Congress to listen to all these amazing stories that keep shaping our countries in all its diversity. It is all the more significant to me as I am just a couple weeks away from becoming a US citizen, so thank you. Thank you, so it's been super inspiring to me. So I would like to say a huge merci to the Library of Congress and to everyone at the American Folklife Center. It's been amazing working with y'all. It's been amazing working on this project with you as well. So merci, thank you so much. So today we are going to tell you about Musique, which is the project we've been working on, which resulted in the publication of an album and a book. I will be passing around one copy of each, so you can take a look. So we will start with the context, telling you a little bit more about music in Louisiana, and then we will talk about the album and the book. So, Scott, if you'd like to go ahead and start.
Yeah, do you want to introduce real quickly? Here we go. So my name is Scott Tilton, and along with Rudy, we are the co-founders of the New Orleans Foundation for Francophone Cultures. And so I'm from New Orleans, and I grew up in a Louisiana Creole family and had the opportunity to learn French fairly young. And that brought me to Paris, where we ended up meeting. And we ended up working on this initiative that had Louisiana join what's called the Francophonie in 2018. And the Francophonie, I always give the analogy as being sort of like the French UN, French-speaking UN. It brings together all of these countries across the world that have an affiliation with the French language. And so it was from working on that initiative that we decided to go back to Louisiana. So we moved from Paris to Louisiana in the middle of COVID, which was fun. And we launched a cultural institution that works on the revitalization of heritage cultures in Louisiana. So heritage cultures includes Cajun, Creole, and in several indigenous communities in Louisiana that are also historically French-speaking. And so we through this foundation, we have our label NEW. So NEW is us or we in French, kind of creating that idea of inclusivity. And so we've created a recording label, a publishing house, and film studio through our work. And the idea is to represent heritage cultures in Louisiana through a very contemporary lens. So I'm going to go real quickly into the history of our communities and like the different languages and communities represented onto this album. So Louisiana Creole is an identity. It is not necessarily a racial categorization. It's more of a cultural identity. And so it includes people of European, of African descent, who are indigenous. And it's an identity that's sort of forged in Louisiana throughout the 18th century and exists up until today. And there are Creole communities throughout the state, and that's sort of what my family grew up in that tradition. And this is a definition of Louisiana Creole from the Williams Research Center at the Historic New Orleans Collection. In addition to Creoles, there's another heritage community, Cajuns, who are descendants of Acadians. These are French settlers who went to the maritime provinces of Canada, and they formed their own identity up there before there was this event called the Grand Dérangement, and they had to leave Acadie, and then a lot of them ended up in Louisiana. So when we talk about Cajun and Creole identities, they're not necessarily divided from each other. You can be of African descent and of Acadian descent. There are people who identify as Creole and Cajun historically. Mm-hmm. But during the course of the 20th century, during the system of Jim Crow and segregation, there's this desire to divide out our communities and create division. So the correlation, they passed these laws from the 1920s until the 1970s, banning the French language in public spaces, notably in education. So we ended up going from 1.5 million French speakers to about 150,000 today. So what we wanted to look at in this project, what we'll talk about is with that steep language loss, music is one of the areas in which the language is being passed on through generation to generation, despite that being blocked in other aspects of everyday life.
Exactly. So in working on music, we wanted to explore language as well and its musicality. So we have several languages in Louisiana. The first one is Louisiana French, which is considered to be a dialect of French, so a regional version of what we could call standard French. For a lot of people, it looks a lot like the French they speak in Quebec, but it's very different. I'm sure that some of you speak French, so you can probably recognize some of the sentences here in the first column. And in the second one, we included the same sentences in Louisiana Creole, which is considered to be its own language. So even though they do look alike, especially if you read these sentences phonetically, they are different. And I think what's fascinating when it comes to Creole is how it merges several languages. So it's based on French, but it uses a lot of grammatical features from Western African languages. So for instance, if you look at the last sentence here, j'avais 4 chars in Louisiana, which means I had 4 cars. In Louisiana Creole, you would say motegan 4 chars, which means, means the same thing, but tegan, here you're going to use what we could call modals or particles to express the past tense and to express possession, which is one of the features of some Western African languages as well. So we wanted to talk a little bit about our languages in Louisiana because in recording these songs, language plays a central part. So a lot of people ask us, why is this song in Creole? Why is this song in French? So we really wanted to work with the artists to determine which language they wanted to use, and we wanted to have both languages represented as well on this album.
And in addition to being very linguistically diverse, Louisiana has also been a groundswell of a lot of different musical forms that have had a huge impact on the United States. These are just listing a few of them, and these are all basically different parts of the different genres are represented onto this album. And I think that like language, what's fun in Louisiana is that people blend styles. So you'll see when you're listening, and we'll have samples of the songs, they're not necessarily, in Louisiana, it's never static. It's never, this is one category and that's another category. Things kind of blend between them. And I think that that was really important and really came out in the interviews that we did with a lot of these musicians, that sometimes we make these like stark divisions between different categories of music, where in reality, in one song, you may have 3 or 4 different styles that come to the fore. So that was really enjoyable about working on this. But also there's a deep pride in different sounds that come through Louisiana that blend different styles, just like the languages. There's European influence, there's a lot of African influence, a lot of Caribbean influence in it. And also we are very much part of the US South, so we're not existing in a vacuum. So all of these different styles exist on this album. And so one of the things too in working on this album, we wanted to look at some of the precedent behind our work. And we worked with the Library of Congress, with AFC specifically on the Lomax tapes, which were recorded in 1934. John Lomax, and I think his son was in tow with him, went around the South and recorded a lot of this music. And some of these are the original recordings that we have of Louisiana French and Creole music. And it was really wonderful because there's Dr. Josh Caffrey who did a fellowship with the AFC, and he ended up categorizing a lot of the Louisiana music and creating a wonderful website. So we were able to kind of go off this music that's almost hitting a 100-year mark and be able to sort of make echoes to that when we were starting to put together the album.
So, there we go, musique, le projet. So we wanted to create a research and documentation project and create a contemporary anthology of Louisiana music in French and Creole. So almost 100 years after Lomax did his first recordings, we kind of wanted to create our own snapshot of Louisiana music as it is performed today in French and Creole. So we wanted to do that for people to enjoy, and we also wanted to do that for future researchers to study and to analyze. So it was very important for us to have something tangible, and that's why we wanted to have a book and an album, which is also available online. So we followed several steps with the support of the American Folklife Center to do that. So first, we did some initial research on the various genres we just talked about. So that's me at the American Folklife Center listening to some old recordings. It was very nice listening to some Creole and to some Louisiana French from the early 20th century. So it was fascinating. So we came about, I think it must have been a year ago, and it was very nice being at the American Folklife Center listening to Lomax's recordings. So after we did that, and I mean like we did that more or less at the same time, but we also had to choose who would be on the album. So we knew we wanted to come up with a 12-track album with 2 songs for each musician. So it meant that we would have to find 6 musicians in musical ensemble. So we started looking for musicians, and we found some pretty amazing ones.
Yeah. So a lot of these musicians, some of y'all may know already. So Louis Michaud, for example, is a very renowned Cajun fiddler. He comes from a family of musicians. He works notably with the Lost Bayou Ramblers, which has gotten several Grammy Awards for their work, just working on Louisiana music and also sort of updating those sounds. So they're really drawing from the traditional music of Louisiana, but they're very experimental in the music that they do. There's also Layla McCalla, who is a phenomenal singer, and she has deep Haitian roots. And so she moved to Louisiana about a decade ago, and she's been really working on blending this sort of sound of Louisiana French and Creole music with Haitian music. So a lot of her contributions on the album are songs that actually have overlap in both places. There's Sun Pai, who is amazing. He's a Zydeco musician. Him and Leroy Etienne, who's from Lafayette, are big advocates of the Louisiana Creole language. So in addition to their musical advocacy and what they do, they're very renowned musicians. They are huge advocates for the revitalization of Louisiana Creole. In addition, we have Sweet Crew, so we wanted to bring some sort of swamp pop, just sort of pop indie music into the fold. And Sweet Crude has been, mixes a lot of traditional Louisiana French music, but then they totally update it. And I think he was talking, Sam was talking about what are the influences. He was like, well, you know, it's like Beau Soleil and like Led Zeppelin. And I really like that idea of being able to mix and mash with the musical styles. Then we had a group of 18 women from the Baby Dolls who are phenomenal. So the Baby Doll tradition in New Orleans is analogous to it's part of the black masking traditions of Louisiana, so it's it's analogous to the black masking Indian tradition. But they are women, it takes back from about an early age of jazz with Storyville, which was actually a red light district in Louisiana at the time. But it was a tradition of singing in Louisiana Creole. They have these beautiful handmade dresses that they make. And a lot of the music that they sing is still these traditional songs, but during COVID, the last native speaker of Louisiana Creole as part of the different Baby Doll groups passed away. So our organization's been working with Kim Basteville at Dillard to reteach Louisiana Creole, and the outcome of those workshops, they ended up singing and recording onto this album. And the last group is Les Sinel, and their inspiration is they're more classically trained and they do a lot of experimental music, but they take it's very almost like a detective duty where they go in and find lost traces of music from Congo Square, combine it with different styles of music that they knew were from the era, and then they recreate the songs but in a very contemporary style.
So we had some musicians, we had done our initial research, so now we had to record the album. So it was actually the first time we had done anything like that. So we made a few phone calls, we called studios, and we're like, hey, can we come over and record a few songs? And so we ended up working with the best studio in New Orleans, which is called Esplanade Studios, thanks to the support of the American Folklife Center. It's an old church not far from the Tremaine, New Orleans, which is absolutely beautiful. A lot of major artists work there. I can't even begin to list them, but we know that Taylor Swift was there not too long ago. See? So here's a photo of Sweet Crude, one of the bands we worked with, performing for one of the songs that's on the album. So we recorded all songs in August of 2024. So from August 10th to August 31st. So it took us 6 days, 6 full days. So we had like mostly like 4 days to record everything, and then like we did some retakes, and like we had to re-record a few things to make sure it was like the best possible version of the song that would be on the album.
Yeah. I will say that during August we were just praying there would be no hurricanes. So during the actual album, which is being passed around right now,
I can show it to y'all as well.
Yeah.
So here it is. We did it.
Just so y'all know, one of the things that's kind of a neat feature, we decided to press the album as an LP as well. So like we did it with the New Orleans Record Press, and Katia Baz, who's our artistic director, worked on it on the cover, and it's actually a cypress tree that she did a riso screen on, so it makes it look like a sound wave, which we thought was really interesting design-wise. The different songs, so as we mentioned, there are 2 tracks per artist, and all of the songs are in Louisiana French and Creole. And I think that what was really neat about that, and what we mentioned earlier with all these different genres, these different languages, all of the artists are from the sort of 4 different corners of Louisiana. So we wanted to show it as a snapshot. The album, by no stretch of the imagination, is exhaustive of Louisiana music and what's around today, but we wanted to show that these are different samples of the music from across Louisiana, and a lot of these are songs that are being transmitted to a new generation. So these are songs that are kind of actively being revised or written today, and so that's sort of why we wanted to show that through the album. And I think that one of the things that's been really great is the public's enthusiasm, particularly within Louisiana. So we've had about 100,000 streams of the album on Spotify. Thank you. And we'll see. We've been working with Louis to get it nominated, just to see if it gets for the consideration for the Best Regional Roots category. So we're hoping for like Grammy consideration. So,
yeah.
and I think that the reason why we wanted to do that is because a lot of the artists like Les Sinel and the Baby Dolls, this is their first time recording in this type of setting. And I think that the recognition of how momentous that is for them to sort of have trusted and gone on to the album. And I think that deep pride in working on this as a community. And I will also say we gave copies of all of the books and the albums to all of the musicians and to several of their family members as well. So in addition to being something that's available publicly for support, all of musicians received it, and the proceeds from the album have gone back into music education programs to bring the artist into schools. So.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. So we also made a book because when we recorded the songs, we decided to interview each musician and ask them a few questions. So we asked them the same questions. So it was about 45 minutes to an hour with each musician. So we decided to transcribe the interviews. So we have them all here in this book, which is compilation of all the interviews we did. And here you can see, for instance, Lumi Show. So we also included a short bio for each artist, and we included the lyrics of their songs as well in French, Louisiana Creole, and English so that people can understand the lyrics and their significance as well, because usually they talk about topics that matter to the musicians, such as climate change, like their own culture, etc. So we will, of course, listen to a few songs at the end of this presentation, so we will tell you more about that. But we also worked with local designers for this book, and we're super excited to have something in print as well that we can share with a lot of people. A lot of universities have decided to purchase it for their own libraries. So Harvard, for instance, UC Berkeley, Tulane University in New Orleans. So we're very excited to be able to distribute the book as well. On top of that, we also wanted to make a documentary because we're like, okay, if we're going to record songs, make a book, and film the musicians, we may as well edit that into a nice documentary. So we made a 20-minute short documentary, which was presented for the first time at the New Orleans French Film Festival in March. It's still in the festival circuit. We will show you the intro scene as part of this presentation, and we'll be happy to send y'all a link so you can watch it if you'd like to do that. It will be presented 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, at the New Orleans Film Festival as well, so we're very happy about that. We're still applying for a bunch of festivals as well, Sundance, etc., so we'll see what happens. But we really wanted the musicians to be able to, in this documentary, we wanted to kind of like offer a snapshot of what they had to say. So it's only 20 minutes. We had about 12 to 14 hours of footage. So it was all very long. It took us forever to edit this film, but we really wanted to have something impactful in a way for people to watch it. And after 20 minutes, we wanted our audience to be like, okay, I need to learn more about Louisiana and Louisiana music as well. So you will see the intro scene of this film. And last but not least.
Yeah, the last thing that we pulled together, and this was with the extra public funding that was offered through this grant program, was an exhibition. So we recently had the opportunity to open a new cultural center space in collaboration with the Historic New Orleans Collection in the French Quarter. And I think symbolically that's a really important step in Louisiana to have something dedicated to a space dedicated to heritage cultures in the in the French Quarter, which is really one of the genesis of our communities. And so we activated the space with this exhibition. And the idea was, so the documentary is sort of a snapshot of the ways that these musicians are in conversation with each other, but we weren't able to go into all of the history behind the music. And the album is obviously the sort of grand finale of all of the sort of creative production and of the artist. But we wanted to go into the history of this music and why it is important today to be producing an anthology of this music. And I think the kind of what we pointed at in the two and through this exhibition, one was the sort of, there is a deep, rich history coming from different places, and we need to be celebrating that diversity in Louisiana because that's not always assured today. And I think that we wanted to talk about where those traditions come from. And then what we did is we followed each of the musicians, taking sort of the antecedent of their music, how it's mixed with other forms of music, and then how all of the musicians are in conversation with each other. So that was a successful exhibition. So now we'll get to the album.
Yeah, we can listen to a few songs.
Yeah, we actually have a couple minutes, which is great. So I think we're ahead of it. So we'll show you some of the samples from this music, and then we'll actually go into what the actual song is. So it gives you sort of a sense.
Exactly,
of
yeah.
So I have to go out of it.
Oh, yeah. So
Then,
the first one is by Louis Michaud.
Yeah, so we'll listen to it, and then we'll explain it.
Oh, I think it's...
Oh.
I think you can play it. And we should...
Oh, mon cher garçon, tu connais ce fil lapin. Quand je vois la mèche, je vois que c'est pas doux. Quand j'étais petit, c'était mille et mille des arbres. À ce tout là, mais c'est comme un madeau salé. Quand les Acadiens sont arrivés dans la Louisiane, c'était la porte mèche qu'on était isolé. Isolé de l'influence des Américains, isolé pour préserver nos...
This song, it was actually written by Louis Michaud's father, and it's talking about the consequences of losing the coast of Louisiana. So they're talking about how the loss of Louisiana's coast, which has been the size basically of Massachusetts because of coastal erosion and sort of things that we've done in terms of environmental degradation, and how the loss of the coast leads to a loss of language, which leads to a loss of community.
Exactly, yeah. And musically you can tell that he's playing the fiddle and that it's fast-paced and that the lyrics are in French as well.
Yeah.
So here, now we have the Baby Dolls.
So this is a song that's actually incredibly well known, and it's been redone by musicians throughout the centuries in Louisiana. But it is a song that has been very important to the baby doll tradition, and that is, there's a woman in the background, so they're doing a tambourine and a sort of percussion instrument, so it's all a cappella, but with that little bit of percussion, and that's how it would be sung during the carnival tradition.
And last one, Listenel.
Danse, Kalinda. Danse, Kalinda. Danse, Kalinda. Danse, Kalinda.
This one is really interesting because they bring in a lot of different influences, and this song in particular becomes polyphonic kind of during part of it. So there's multiple people singing, and there's this really interesting combination of different styles that they brought in.
Exactly, so you can see that it's all very diverse in a way, and we have 12 songs which are all available on streaming platforms if you'd like to listen to them. And so as a conclusion, we would like to show you all the intro to our film.
Debaixo um temporaire, mon âme, mon esprit, debaixo um temporaire, mon esprit.
Et pour nous autres ici dans la Louisiane, c'est important de reconnaître qui on est. Et sans la musique, on n'aura pas cette opportunité de parler, de chanter, de crier, de pleurer.
Oh mon âme, je vais chanter pour elle. Mon âme, mon esprit, je vais chanter pour elle. Mon esprit.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's all I can say. And I've made records, and I've printed books, and I've made films, so I have some idea of how much work goes into that. So you are going the Overachievers Club for the in my book. All right, so next we have all right, here we go. Last night I had the honor of meeting Chancy Martorell and Panida Jonka. Did I pronounce that right? And they're here from California, from the Thai Community Development Center in Los Angeles. And in 2023, the American Folklife Center awarded the Thai Community Development Center with a community collections grant to support their work to interview diverse members of the Thai community in Los Angeles. And I also decided this morning to do some reading about you and the work that you have done, and we'll talk about it in the Q&A, but Chancy is a titan. She's a powerful, powerful woman. Come on up here. You're both powerful women. Come on, Panida and Tim.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Panida Jansa. I'm the directing attorney with the Thai Community Development Center, and I had the privilege and honor of being a project manager on this wonderful Library of Congress project. We just wanted to thank the Library of Congress for giving us the opportunity to be able to document, really for the first time, the Thai American community in Los Angeles.
And hello, everyone. My name is Chancey Martorell. I'm the Executive Director and founder of Thai Community Development Center, founded 31 years ago. I'm also, by training, an urban planner and community development practitioner. And I actually am a Thai immigrant who was raised in Los Angeles. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Library of Congress, American Folklife Center, and the individuals we worked with through these past couple of years. John, Michelle, Jason, Doug. Just want to really thank everyone for giving us this opportunity to document a history that is not well known in this country.
Today, we're going to give you a little bit of background and history about our organization, the Thai Community Development Center in Los Angeles, as well as talk about our project and some best practices and barriers that we had faced during the project.
So just a little bit about the organization, Thai Community Development Center. We were founded in 1994 in the aftermath of two crises that left devastation in their wakes and had adverse impacts on predominantly low-income, minority, and immigrant communities in Los Angeles. That was after the 92 civil unrest of Los Angeles and 1994 Northridge earthquake that displaced people from their homes, their jobs, and their businesses. And so Thai CDC was born from the ashes of these crises as a way to really address the need for equity and access for invisible communities like the Thai community. So just a little bit about the Thai community. Many of you may not know much about Thai community. How many of you actually know that we have a Thai town in Los Angeles? Okay, specifically East Hollywood, which has served as a historic port of entry for newly arrived Thai immigrants going back to the 50s. So we have experienced 3 stages of migration from the 50s onward until the present time. And every stage you have a different composition of Thai immigrants. But the current stage of migration from the 80s onward to the present stage are predominantly Thais from very poor regions of Thailand, the provinces of Thailand that are very poor, and they come here with little to no skills and are really vulnerable to most egregious forms of exploitation in the workplace. And so hence Thai CDC is a community development center because we address the needs of economic immigrants, as Thais are economic immigrants. So we engage in community development because we believe it's key to mobility for the poor. Therefore, we do community development, but define it comprehensively. That includes social services, human rights advocacy, and our programs are in these areas of community asset building, human rights advocacy, healthy communities, and community empowerment, cultural tourism, and placemaking. And there are in the US about 500,000 Thais, half of whom are in Southern California. Significant population abroad is in Southern California.
And at Thai CDC, we're actually a community economic development center at its core. A lot of people think Thai CDC, we're really a social service agency, and it's not true. I specialize in assisting victims of human trafficking and labor exploitation, and that's really, the most vulnerable of our populations. And we had opened our doors to serve those clients with social services, but now have expanded because of the needs in our community. But we have a very broad and comprehensive mission statement, as you can see, and it includes human rights advocacy, affordable housing, access to health care, promotion of small businesses, neighborhood empowerment, and social enterprises. Here are a few photos of the work that we do. Among them are Thai town beautification, voter engagement. We helped open up a night market in Hollywood. We run a farmers market, East Hollywood Certified Farmers Market, as well as a COVID vaccine clinic. And, we have been recognized many times by our local as well as federal officials.
So one of the most important milestone in Thai community history was the campaign for Thai Town designation in East Hollywood, and winning that campaign after 7 years. It was a protracted campaign that started in 1992, even before Thai CC was born. I led that campaign because we had the civil unrest in 92, and I felt that as an urban planner that we really needed to see more investments in communities that have been neglected historically in LA, like East Hollywood, where the Thai community has been settling since the 50s. And so it was a way to really ensure that there's economic development, capital infusion, and that there's job creation and small business development. So we began the campaign in 92, going about it in the most democratic and participatory way, engaging multiple community stakeholders and segments of the community until we won the designation 7 years later. So we achieved that victory on October 27, 1999. So 2 weeks from now, it's yet another an anniversary of the founding of Thai Town. By unanimous vote of the City Council, did we win this designation. And here was October 27, 1999, when we were in City Council to basically attend these public hearings and had community supporters there to support the designation. And we finally held a ribbon cutting ceremony in January to unveil Thai Town. And various community members, local, state, federal representatives, and representatives of the Thai government were present in that auspicious ceremony. And as I mentioned, the founding of Thai Town was not about signage. It's really about how we could use culture, tourism, creative placemaking as vehicles for economic development to turn an economically depressed neighborhood around and revitalize it and create a thriving local economy, an economy that works for everyone, and democratize the planning process and ensure basically the community not get displaced and protect them from gentrification. And by the same token, transport people into this ambience of Thai culture, heightening awareness of Thai culture through the festivals and heritage marketing that we would do year-round, such as the Thai New Year's Day Songkran Festival in Thai Town, where we actually closed down 13 blocks of Hollywood Boulevard, more than the Oscars. And along that boulevard, we have a number of activities, which we'll show you, but we are now attracting upwards of 400,000 festival goers to Thai Town because of the festival. And here's an example of what it looks like.
สวัสดีค่ะ Welcome to the 14th annual Thai New Year Songkran Festival 2019. I'm Jenny Somapan, and I'm about to take you through one of the largest Thai festivals outside of Thailand. And it's taking place right here on Hollywood Boulevard in Thai Town, Los Angeles, home of also the largest Thai population outside of our home country. This will yet be another amazing year filled with fun activities held by community partners, organizations, and vendors all over Los Angeles. So without further ado, let's go see what this festival is all about.
I hope you all can come and enjoy a Thai New Year festival with us someday. It's usually the first weekend in April, so mark your calendars. We'll be happy to take you on a tour anytime. This next excerpt that we're about to play is actually a book that Chancey co-authored called Thais in LA that was published through Arcadia Publishing about Thais in Los Angeles.
And this is another form of documentation.
Executive Director, Thai Community Development Center. Hi, I'm Cindy Merlin. I was her intern for the last 2 years. And we collaborated together to produce or publish this Thais in LA book, which is historic because there's been nothing written yet about Thai American history, especially here in Los Angeles, going back 50 years. So we have been compiling photos and writing different sections about different aspects of Thai community history. We hope that people take an interest and purchase the book. 100% of the proceeds from the book goes to Thai town development. So it will go back to benefit the community. And the price is?
If you buy it from the Thai CDC, it's $20. You can also get it on Amazon for $21.95.
But we're the best bargain, best price, tax-free. And you can also order online, Thai CDC website, or call our office and talk to Rick at 323-468-2555.
I just think this is a great collaboration for not only both of us, but the whole community. We collected pictures from anybody who was willing to donate them to us. We scanned them in, and we just compiled this community narrative and the stories that they shared with us. So if you want to get a real feel of what the Thai community is like in Los Angeles, then this book is a good start.
And there'll be more to come.
And now we're going to turn to our project. When we started out, we really wanted to provide context about how the Thai community in Los Angeles came to be, how Thai immigrants and Thai Americans navigate their lives, and document cultural events as well. So we did a series of interviews as well as a lot of B-roll of these cultural events at the Thai temple, at the Songkran Thai New Year Festival. Even when we did this, the photo in the center is a street cleaning where community members came out to engage and beautify Thai town. So a lot of it was really trying to engage with people where they are and document what's going on in Thai town with Thai people. And we also wanted to strengthen the Thai diaspora's sense of belonging and connection to their roots. By sheer value of being at the Thai Community Development Center, we do get a lot of Thai, younger folks, youth, college students, new grads. They come to Thai CDC and they want to know what's going on. Where do I come from? And we're happy to engage with them so that they can understand, their heritage. And to the right, you see, that's a photo of me. I'm doing an interview. So a little documentation of the documentation.
And also, there are real reasons why we wanted to have this Library of Congress support the project. We want the Thai community to overcome its invisibility factor because we still consider ourselves a minor minority. We've been relegated as such within the broader AAPI community, and so we're very marginalized. And so for us, this project validates that we exist, that we occupy a space associated with history, that we have a presence, and it's really just amazing that we're able now to have Thai community archived, so to speak, in the Library of Congress in national records. And so we want to thank again the Library of Congress for recognizing the importance of documenting our history and making the invisible visible and the voiceless heard. And letting people know that we are contributing members of society, of civil society, and that we are part of the cultural and social fabric and economy of this country. We don't want to be placed on the margins of society.
Yeah. And, I also wanted to add that, in our documentation, we wanted to encourage non-Thais to learn more about the Thai community. So all of our interviews, they're both in English and Thai, and we did get the Thai interviews subtitled. So when you go through and watch it, you'll be able to understand everything, hopefully.
Yeah, because I think for the most part, a lot of people, when they think of Thailand, hopefully they don't think it's Taiwan, it's Thailand, and they think of Thais, they don't think of just Thai food. A lot of people I know love Thai food. It's become a popular cuisine of choice, but there is more to the Thai community. And so here we want to talk about its demographics, its socioeconomic characteristics, its human and welfare needs, and diaspora.
Right, so we looked into different segments of Thai American society and interviewed folks from community organizations, Thai American professionals, business owners, workers, other talent. We are in LA, so we were fortunate enough to have a film crew that we hired to be able to bring all of these interviews to life. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to do it. But there are so many people that are historic. We worked on the famous Thai El Monte garment slavery case. We were able to interview one of the survivors from that case to document her story, how she came to the United States, what happened to her, and what led to her freedom, and how Thai CDC came to know her. And that's just one of the examples of the people that we were able to talk to in depth. Without that film crew I mentioned, this is not the metadata. So I was like double XL. So this is our project tracker. So we had to do a lot of scheduling. We had about 51 individual interviews. And I think we had really ambitious goals for this project. We did ask for an extension for that reason, just because scheduling didn't always work out. And between their team and our team, I think we worked really well together to get all of this completed with our extension. But it was really, Chancey or myself interviewing each individual, and both of us have personal ties. Chancey founded Thai CDC 31 years ago, so she has deep connections in our community, and the interviews, it shows. I would provide her with interview questions, and she's like, no, I got this, right? An hour and a half later, they're done. So it was really a joy to be able to connect with people at this level and bring their stories to light. Looking back, I mentioned that we had our film crew, John Haas and Tien Nguyen, and fortunately, we are in Hollywood, so we had access to people that are very experienced working with Asian Pacific Islander communities as well to do documentation and media work, but just creating a calendar of and organizing of all the different events that we have in our community was super important, and then the community connections, but our goals, they were sky high, and so we didn't have enough time. I think if we had more time, we would have gotten more interviews that we had planned, but being an immigrant community, lots of folks travel back to Thailand as well, and it just didn't work out. Tech issues, the transcripts, the logs, we hired out again to do that subtitling that I mentioned, and then just did the transcripts and logs in-house. And then that wonderful metadata spreadsheet that I have a renewed appreciation of. But I'm really glad that we were able to have this experience. Here are just some of the people that we had interviewed. The top row is primarily Thai American professionals, behavioral therapists, labor leaders, actors, architects, urban planners, attorneys, and right there at the upper right, that's our survivor from the El Monte trafficking case that interviewed with us. And there's Chancey. I got to interview Chancey, and Chancey interviewed me, so that was great. We have artists, we have entrepreneurs. I think we have some Michelin-starred award-winning chefs down at the bottom that we decided to include as well, that we have also known for many years. So it was really great and very touching to be able to talk to everybody. The former Thai ambassador, Tani, on the middle right was also included. We also include our own Thai Consul General. So different peoples at different levels of Thai American society. And of course, our many cultural events that we have every year, from our Palm Village Thai senior housing. We have a monk blessing every year for the seniors, where we bring in monks from the local Thai temple in North Hollywood. And on the upper right, it was our opening of the Thai Worker Center, the first Thai Worker Center in the U.S. In Hollywood, near Thai Town, with many of the dignitaries that came to support us. The night market that had opened in Hollywood. You can see the Capitol Records building in the background, very close to our office. And then, of course, at the Thai Temple, and the Thai American Bar Association also had a gala that we documented, as well as other fundraising events for the Thai Songkran Festival. Yeah. Anything you want to add?
That concludes our presentation.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Just very impressive, everybody. Any questions?
My untreated ADHD makes me always willing to talk. I wanted to ask the young men with the Francophone Center, which particular indigenous communities are you guys referring to? I've got some really close friends who are major Creole scholars and are indigenous, and I'm really interested in hearing more about that from you.
Yeah, we've had the opportunity to work with Haley Dardar from the United Homa Nation. She's phenomenal. She's done amazing work on revitalization of the Homa language, and actually interesting with Louisiana French being spoken in down the bayou in Lafourche and Terrebonne. She's been working within sort of the structure of Louisiana French to work on sort of reconstituting the Homa language, which has sort of different ramifications for the community. So we worked with the Homa Language Project, and then also with the Tunica Biloxi, who are up in Marksville. So there's a lot of, it's really great in Louisiana, because I think that different communities, you often have multiple heritage communities living within the same communities. So Marksville being indicative of having a lot of Louisiana French speakers, but also like the Tunica Biloxi. So a lot of people know each other. And I think that's very, around Louisiana, I feel like everyone's like, do you know such and such? And you're like, yeah.
You have a question over here?
Anne's got a mic. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Hi, for Scott and Rudy again. I was just curious. You did so much. You did so much, and it's so beautiful. All of it is so very clean and beautiful, and you have a real aesthetic going, like the black and white photos, the modern font, the beautiful gallery, and I mean, it was a choice. So you really took it to like high art visually. And can you tell me about that?
Well, thank you so much first. It was very much intentional. So when we started the foundation in 2020, we wanted to create something contemporary, and we wanted to show that Louisiana's cultures are still relevant today. And we wanted to do that through graphic design as well. It was during the pandemic, so I used to work as a diplomat, so I didn't know how to do that. So I learned how to use InDesign, Illustrator, all of that. And I'm very grateful, fortunate I had the
You
time
did
to do
all the design?
I did, yeah, most of them, yeah. So
I was going to ask who your designer was and get a connection.
Thank you so much. I did them with Katya, who works with us, and she's fantastic as well. And we wanted to have something contemporary, but reflecting what Louisiana is like today as well. So that's why we wanted to have a cypress tree on the cover of the album. And also in our film, we have this bright pink color because we wanted to make a statement and show that it's not because we're talking about heritage cultures that we have to use, like kind of like older fonts, or that we have to make it like, yeah, yeah, exactly. So it's a very important aspect of our work. And yeah, if you visit our website as well, it's a lot of videos, a lot of more contemporary black and white photos as well. So thank you.
Hi. Again, for the two of you, thank you so much for all of you for your presentations. Your projects are terrific, and it's really gratifying to see the work that you're doing, and it will be coming into our collections. To your point about the Huma materials, we do have Tammy Greer, who is a professor of Huma, and her project will be up online fairly soon, and I had the privilege of working with her on that project, so great to hear the work you're doing in communities. I wanted to perhaps not push back, but maybe take a slightly different approach to your notion that Creole is not a racial designation. What scholars might say about that is interesting, but the way in which people identify as Creole, or in contrast to Cajun, I think is all important. And I remember very distinctly being doing a show with Canary Fontenot and Bois-Sac-Ardouin back in about '89, and the producer or the MC, with all and not in ignorance, but perhaps not fully cognizant of the fact, kept referring to them as the Cajun musicians from Louisiana, Bois-Sac-Ardouin and Canary Fontenot. And Canary said very loudly, "Oh, I guess they forgot we was black." And so there's notion of self-identification, I think, might also play a part in how people do or don't identify. Would that be a general way to say that?
Yeah, and we wouldn't disagree. I think that there's a lot, within our community of Creole, Afro-Creole is a huge aspect of it. And I think that with the kind of movement, and that's why went to pains to say that you can also be of Acadian descent. You can be, these identities are people have multiple identities. And I do think, though, why within our communities we've been really keen on that is because some of the racial categorizations that were imposed onto our communities are part of a product of Jim Crow. Whereas when some of these decades ago, some of these divisions based off this sort of notion of the binary were devastating to us. And I think a lot of people, either if they were white Creole, they started identifying as French. Black Creole becomes Creole within that, but all of our communities are under the Louisiana Creole. I think there's been a lot of effort within our communities and advocates saying that we are from everywhere, and we have all of these different categorizations, and we don't want to be defined by Jim Crow anymore.
That's really what this project is all about, is self-identifying, explaining who you are, and, telling your own story.
Thank you. This is a question for the Thai CDC. I'm wondering what your have you thought about ways to incorporate the next generation into the documentation that you've done, or that maybe future work that you're thinking about doing? Just wondering about the kind of intergenerational possibilities of the work that you've done.
No, very good question. We try very hard to incorporate the next generation youth. In fact, a couple of years ago, we sought a grant from the City of LA Department of Cultural Affairs to actually create a program just for the youth called Artivism, and have a young artist in residence at our center to teach other youth how to use art as a form of activism. And so because we want to produce in our next generation change agents, social change agents, because that is what we are at Thai CDC. We're a social change organization, and all of us need to become social change agents, so that's what we want the youth to become. And we have, since 31 years ago, in collaboration with other ethnic immigrant organizations, Koreatown Immigrant Workers Alliance, Garment Workers Center, Filipino Workers Center, South Asian Network. We had started the Summer Activist Training Program that actually trained youth in organizing and in power analysis, in direct action, and in media strategies to really be out there doing a lot of organizing and movement building. But she has also some
From a
answers to
day-to-day,
that.
I would say that we have this great internship program where we engage with various local universities and host youth that are in undergraduate or in law school to come and get their hands dirty with us. And it's a really great opportunity for them to see what the work is like, to do that kind of self-discovery, but also really make a difference for their community.
I mean, we've had so many interns over the years. I can't even begin to count because it's been hundreds, but we've had like children of LA County Council interning with us. We had children of Thai consul generals and Thai ambassadors, and different members of the community who want their children to come and intern with us. But also just regular students from community colleges, from the state colleges, from the prestigious universities. They also seek out internships at Thai CDC. And they're not all Thai. It's like across the board because they believe in our mission of social change.
We have a question in the back.
This question is also for Thai CDC. You talked about interviewing local leaders, politicians, diplomats, labor leaders. I was curious if you felt like you were studying up and looking at power structure, or how you, what you might have learned about how those power structures relate to the community at large.
Yes. I actually started the Thai American Experience course at UCLA back like 35 years ago or so, or 40 years ago. And the reason I did that because I was born in Thailand, raised in LA, did study abroad in Thailand as well, was because, and that was also meant to also help the youth understand the culture that they come from. And this is a culture that's steep in hierarchy. It's a socially stratified society, Thai society, that is, where your place and rank within the social structure is based on your economic status, your gender, your level of education, right? And because it's also 95% Buddhist, right, there is a lot of fatalism in Thai society and acceptance of your lot in life, right? And so what we try to do at Thai CC is we try to kind of essentially upset the status quo to some extent, because we are involved in a lot of social justice work and human rights work. And so it's very important that we really help people who are in the lower strata of Thai society understand that they have fundamental human rights, and these are universal principles. And so we help them really understand that they have free agency and they can choose, and they don't have to accept their lot in life, and it's not karmic retribution that they are in this state, and we try to really help them find their voice and help them find their power to be able to not just agitate, but to also be able to assert their rights. And so this exists in Thai society, this power structure and this dynamic, and we already know that going in because I teach that, but we actually work across the board with folks, while we do a lot of the educating as well of the folks at the higher strata of Thai society to really help them understand that everyone should be treated equally. We know that exists. There's still some feudalism that exists in our society, but that's why we exist, because we need to do that kind of education and that kind of social change work and try to upset that status quo to some extent. And so hence the work we do gets very risky as well. So I've received death threats many times because of all the human rights work I've done over the years. But it doesn't, stop me from continuing to do that work because I'm passionate about human rights and social justice. So I'm not, it's not going to get in the way of doing that. Anything you want to add?
I think you covered it.
Well, as a member of a board here at the library, I'm always interested to know how people on the outside view this institution. So can you tell us how the musicians responded when you said this is a project that's for the Library of Congress, or the people that you interviewed?
I think they were very excited. So for a long time, Louisiana's heritage cultures were not recognized, one could say. So a lot of people thought that A, these cultures belong to the past, and B, that they were not good enough in a way to form part of a broader American cultural frame of reference. So I think a lot of them felt very happy when we told them that this book and album would be made available here at the Library of Congress, because it was a huge recognition to them of their work and the message they wanted to convey. And a lot of them told us that their grandparents, for instance, who in many cases were musicians as well, would have been so happy to hear that, because for them living in the countryside of Louisiana, it would have been impossible to have people listen to their music in the rest of the country, or have their music, like in the archives of the Library of Congress here in Washington, D.C. So I think a lot of them had this sense of pride as well, and were very happy for this opportunity.
It reminds me of the presentation on line dancing as well yesterday. I thought there was a lot of echo, and that people thought that this, in Louisiana, I think one of the challenges is that there are so many people doing unbelievable things to preserve our culture, but we don't compensate people for their time and the efforts that they put on to transmit these traditions to a new generation, but also we just don't compensate them. And I think there's been this norm that's been settling in which we feel like you can have a musician play a performance and they don't have to be paid. And I think in this project, we compensated well for the work that the musicians did. We gave the recordings back to the musicians to do it whatever they would like to do with it. And then also we brought, Louis and Layla, they're obviously great stars, but they came up here and did a performance at the Library of Congress. Leigh Sinnell is doing concerts all over this place now. The Baby Dolls, we got extra funding building on this project. So I think we're trying to work in the context of Louisiana to compensate cultural keepers at a commiserate rate as other professions. And I think that's, for the longevity of our culture, really important. We're happy that this project allowed us to do so, because we are a smaller nonprofit, and it was really nice to have those resources to kind of help try to break some of the, just break some of these perverse norms that have been created about not compensating people.
How about you? How did people respond when you? Is there any
Wow,
context
they were
there?
very impressed that we were able to elevate their voices to this level. I spoke with so many people, and the first words were like, "Wow, really? You did what? Library of Congress?" And so it was really an honor to be able to make those announcements when we went to public events and interview folks. I think that really kind of pushed Thai CDC up as well, because we are in the fight day in and day out, but it's so important to be able to document what we have accomplished, and this really gives us a national stage to present to everyone really in the United States and have access. And I think, Chancey, you mentioned that there was a contact from Utah already.
Right.
Thank you, metadata. They know about our project. And someone from the county of Salt Lake apparently had already reached out to the library about our project. And it's not even up yet. So so I'm so thrilled. I think our community is also very happy and very overwhelmed that we're receiving this kind of attention, because it's really the first of its kind.
Yeah, remember I was talking about how our community has struggled with overcoming the invisibility factor and marginalization. And so this is putting the community on the map and it's making their voices heard. And so they feel really honored and just overwhelmed that they will now be in the archive of U.S. history.
And I'll just say, in this present moment in technology, with the internet, when a single voice can have so much power, that it's really a pleasure to see people with something really worthwhile to say and important, and that we're giving you the assistance to help amplify your voices and the voices of the people that are all included in your projects. It's just amazing how much power a small group of people can have, and such good taste. I am completely blown away that you started a gallery, did a book, an album, and a film.
And we heard you were also at the UN the other night.
That's right. They were also presenting at the UN.
So does anyone with more authority than me want to come up and talk to Heather? Nikki? For closing remarks?
So while we're talking to folks in DC, I just wanted to mention that the landmark modern slavery case, El Monte Tie Garment slavery case, actually is part of an exhibit in the American History Museum, the Smithsonian American History Museum. So if you go view their exhibit on various stages of labor rights in the U.S., there's a sewing machine there. So you can go look at the actual sewing machine from that case, as well as some other artifacts that were taken from the compound. Some bowls they used, some passports that were taken from the workers, that kind of thing. So if you're curious, please go and take a look.
All right, I'm going to make it quick so we can get to the good stuff here, but I do have some thank yous to do. I want to say that as director of the American Folklife Center, hearing all this gratitude is very, warms the heart in ways that you can't even imagine right now, and being any small part of all the stuff that's going on in these communities is an honor, and you've been very, very generous collaborators. I also know that we have, this is our first go at this kind of work, and you've been patient, you've been generous, and we'd collaborate with you again anytime. So thank you. I do want to thank my staff. I think that watching them in action, it gets me kind of, whoo, this week has been really amazing. There are 100 people to thank across the library to support CCG writ large, so I'm just going to narrow it down to this symposium. I'm going to shout out Michelle Stefano in particular. She's been the heart of the operation, I would say, reading all of these proposals. John has been the wind beneath her wings, I would say, administratively and otherwise. Anyway, Thea has made this event magic happen like she always does. So nice. But she didn't do it alone. She had many people, and I just want to say their names into this space. Virginia Millington, Andrea Decker, Alina Magoni, Nancy Gross, Candace Milburn, Jennifer Cutting, Carolina Restrepo, Guha Shankar, Melanie Zeck, Shelley Justament, Judith Gray, Doug Peach, Rebecca McGivney, Jason Smith, Steve Winnick, John Fenn, Meg Nicholas, Sarah Ludwig, Sam Rugarello, I can never say that, Dan Hochstein, John Gold, Sabina Lipton, and Travis Bickford. That's right. Woo. Yes, and we've been supported in the symposium at the library events office by Danielle, Felix, Rudy, Susan, Juanice, Steve, Lindsay, and at the multimedia group, Dennis, Glenn, Clay, Kevin, Chris, David, and Shanita. So, yeah. All right. Thank you very much. And now Heather will do what she does so well, which is bring it on home. Wrap it up. Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Heather Hodges, and I hail from the great city of New Orleans, Louisiana, where I serve on the leadership team of the Historic New Orleans Collection Museum. And when I am not doing that, I'm honored to serve as chair of the Board of Trustees of the American Folklife Center here in the Library of Congress. Many thanks to all of our community collections grantees, to Director Nikki Saylor, and the entire team at the American Folklife Center. Those thanks are given on behalf of all of my fellow AFC trustees across the nation, and especially those in the room with us today, Dr. Amy Skillman, Natalie Merchant, Ricky Punsalan, and I think Marta Gonzalez is there, Matra Gonzalez. Many of you have shared with us that folks in your community who participated in your projects were pleased to know that the people working in the Library of Congress are interested and invested in helping you to preserve, steward, keep safe, and share your cultural heritage. I hope that the message that y'all will carry back to your communities is that that is indeed the case. It was an honor for all of us to meet you in person, and the enthusiasm that we express for learning more about your communities and traditions is professionally and personally heartfelt. The trustees convened here in the Madison Building this week for our fall trustee meeting, and we spent some time reflecting on what y'all told us. I want you to know that we are listening, and this is what I heard and learned from all of you. I learned that it is our traditions and ways of living that make visible our fragile cultural landscapes and the often unrecorded histories that are core to our identities. Russell Oliver, and I see Russell in the back there, Russell Oliver's project on Puerto Rican coffee growers introduced us to Bernardo Morales, who shared, "I was born on a small coffee farm, and I think I was born under a coffee tree. I love growing coffee because that was the first plant I saw. That gave me life, and every day I get up, and if I don't take 2 sips of coffee, I don't feel well. For me, coffee is a medicine, and it is also sacred." We also met coffee farmer Luis Rodriguez, who told Russell, "The coffee runs through my veins." And on an island under constant threat of devastation from hurricanes, Remy Rodriguez assured us that if the trees can survive, so can we. And so can and must our traditions and ways of life. The Community Collections Grants and the American Folklife Center provide a platform for capturing the voices and traditions that express these deep connections. And all of your projects underscore the importance of collecting, documenting, and archiving to ensure this knowledge survives. Yvette Constor shared that as she did her important work of documenting the cultural dances and rituals of los mataquines and los camanchitos, she learned something very important. Everyone's memories held a different piece of the puzzle that was crucial to fuller understanding these dances. And with each elder lost, we lose forever another puzzle piece. This is particularly problematic when those memories are about the more painful chapters in a community that echo through these traditions, memories of conflicts, bloodshed, lives lost, and people displaced. All of the documentation you collectively and carefully gathered is critical now and will be in the future, essential to helping Americans understand where we came from, who we are now, and what is the cultural legacy that we want to leave our children. Queen Noor, Karen Abdul Malik, in her presentation on line dancing, shared that folks in her community also told her it's not just the history that's important. We want to know what this art form is doing in the community now, and I agree. And among the impacts she shared were stories of how people were forming new and deep bonds while they danced with each other. We heard the story of the dance students who banded together to support an instructor through her adoption process, and the dancer whose therapy, in the wake of discovering she had brain cancer, included reconnecting with her dance teacher and incorporating their dance steps as she sought to regain the ability to walk. I don't know about y'all, but that is very much a community and world where I want us all to live. All of you showed us communities where heritage and traditions, past and present, were part of the glue that holds us together and makes us stronger. Collectively, you also showed us new possibilities for our next 250 years that, I would say, are grounded in faith and hope. It is faith and hope that leads a coffee grower in Puerto Rico to plant a seedling that won't bear coffee cherries for 3 years. It is faith and hope that guide our tradition bearers and inspire them to teach class after class after class to sustain a language, a dance, or a song into the next generation. And it is your faith and hope that compels you to contribute what you have to our archive, because you know that one day it may mean the difference between heritage and culture sustained, vanished, or reclaimed. Last, the American Folklife Center's 50th anniversary is a reminder that major anniversaries have a profound way of shaping archives and the histories that fill them. In the wake of our nation's bicentennial in 1976, we saw a wave of Americans looking to create new institutions and fields of study fueled by the sense that their stories and their histories were being left out of official commemoration efforts. People founded new historical societies, opened museums, took up genealogy, and advocated for more resources to document and study their own communities. The American Folklife Center was also created by an act of Congress in 1976 with the mission to collect and make accessible the vast range of traditional cultural expressions in the United States and throughout the world. And that is what we, and now that includes all of you, have done. Queen Nora shared with us last night that adding her collection to the Library of Congress meant that her community finally felt validated, and that they now feel a sense of ownership in the Library of Congress, and that is why they want to come back. And that is exactly what I and my fellow trustees want for all of you. Next year, we invite you and all Americans to help the American Folklife Center celebrate 50 years of stewarding what is now the largest archive in the world, documenting the customs, expressions, military service, and the work of individual peoples and their cultures. I hope that you will all come back next year and celebrate with us. Again, on behalf of the AFC Board of Trustees, many thanks to you all for your help in helping us to continue to pursue our mission and grow our collections in the best way. Thank you.